Alrighty, guys. So, Mike with King of Avalon follower here to do the final part 3 of 3 for the craziest KvK slash Civil War slash KvK slash Civil War that ever happened. So, this is where we start to fight. Now, this is a long video, okay? This was spread out over hours and hours, and I did not get every hit on myself, did not get every hit that I got against other people. But I tried to get the good stuff. So Vir-King does burn me. I show the report at the end, but I did not get it recorded where he hit me. There was another guy from LOD Asylum who sprinted me as well. He lost, and I didn't get that one recorded either because I was running out of space, and even this thing that's cut down is still 40 minutes long. So anyways, we finally go on the attack. As soon as that shield drops, I send out 4 scouts. I want to see what people are rolling with. I'm looking at everybody's power level. Nasty's down to 10 million power. I know he's been zeroed. He's got nothing so long as he's not reinforced. He's just dead weight. He's garbage. I'm looking at all the other players that are in the base. Again, we've got a combination and mix of pretty much every alliance on the server that doesn't like us, which is every alliance on the server minus 3 or 4. Gold Magikarp there has something like 352,000 troops in his base. Good information to have. I'm not going to go solo him. So I'm looking over next to where Vir-King is. Now I know Vir-King and a lot of those guys are a little preoccupied because they're attempting to destroy RXP's base. Conquest ports in right next to those guys and starts laying waste. So I just lay up right alongside him. I start scouting these guys. There's Meow, Luna Lovegood, Asmodin, and I start scouting, looking at these reports to see what I can get, looking at their power levels if they've blocked. Meow's got 158,000 troops. I'm going to go ahead and hit her, but she throws a shield on before I even get a chance to. So, Luna Lovegood it is. Let's go ahead and take her down. 34,000 troops. That's an easy victory. No reinforcements. It's not bait. And when I'm hitting this person, all I'm looking for is I'm making sure that no white step lines just go shooting up to her all of a sudden, and she gets reinforced by someone, and then I'm essentially running up against a brick wall. So, trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. While I launch my attack on her, I don't have to watch it quite as closely as I normally do because A, Conquest is hitting people too, so they're distracted by him, and B, I know that the majority of these people's troops are all taking out RXP's fortress right now. So, boom, hit Luna Lovegood, she's gone. Emily Erickson is gone. I throw an attack at her just to see if there was anything else in there. Asmodin, I can't remember what happened with him, but we're just attacking. And remember, Conquest and I are right here. We've got Warlord, Legion, Kai, there's Pepsi, Antoinette from RXP, another guy whose name starts with a J from RXP. We've got a bunch of people out and about killing right now. We were backed into a corner. There was nothing we could do other than fight. You saw they started hitting us on tiles. We got our alliance shield up. RXP's got their alliance shield up. They're going after buildings. They're almost taking out RXP's buildings. Pretty much at this point in the game, it's okay. If we're all going to be quitting the game tomorrow because our entire alliance is zeroed, then let's at least go out swinging. So, running around, looking at different things. Just hit Emily Erickson, and then there's Asmodin, and 238,000 troops. That's one that's going to need to be rallied down, or Khan can just spank it. But I'm going to let that alone for him, or come back to that in a rally. So again, from here, I'm seeing messages from people that their WPL has all of a sudden joined the fight. So I don't know. LOD must have either an alliance or non-aggression pact with WPL. But we have had a non-aggression pact with WPL for a long time. We don't fight them, they don't fight us. And all of a sudden, they show up out of nowhere. They poured into our base, and they're all over the place. Their highest level player, who had like 40 million power, something like that, he shows up, as well as multiple level 18, 19, 20, 21s. They poured into the bottom of our base, the middle of our hive, and they just start tearing us apart because, you know, this is civil war right here. So, again, I'm sure you've seen me do this in plenty of my videos. I'm always speed healing whenever I'm fighting people. I want to make sure that I keep a healthy amount of troops on my base. If I get hit, I want to make sure that I have as many infantry as possible to keep my other troops safe. When I get hit by Vir-King later on, he drops me 6 million power. It loads up both my Alliance hospital and my normal hospitals with like 60,000 troops. And I used 2 days worth of speed ups and a few million in food to instantly heal that. And then I just paid the gold to heal out of my Alliance hospital. You can see they're doing a rally on Asmodin right there. I don't remember if I got in on that one or not. I think I port out because at this point I know they're going to be able to take him out. I already got a scout on him. And I'm just going to go try to fend off some of these WPL guys that are trying to pick off our offline players. So throwing a couple more scouts out. Mav Girl's getting rallied. 981,000 troops headed her way. Unless she's going to get reinforced by Vir-King, and even still, as you saw in the rally screen, she wasn't reinforced by anybody, so she's not going to have anything there. And I believe when we actually landed on her, she was totally empty anyways. She just sent everything away, which is a good strategy. Alrighty. Yeah, Conquest is loading up. Getting ready to lay a beat down. Everybody's kind of surrounding him. I realize that I'm not as needed in this particular area right now. Feng Shui. Hoping that I'm recording. Yes, and I threw that in there just so that you could watch it. If you make it through video 3, 10 minutes in, however far along we are right now. I know these videos are getting long, guys, but man, everybody wants to see fighting videos, so I just keep making them. And if I'm annoying and obnoxious, I'm sorry. I think it's a good time. You know, the game is great, so throw a scout down his way. I think he empties out. And that's where I see WPL is hitting Redneck Outlaw up there. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's go take a look at our base and see where folks are. And he's happy to be YouTube famous, which apparently, by the way, look him up on YouTube. He apparently does covers and things like that. I read his mail later. So shout out to someone from the server who's a fellow YouTuber, even though we're in opposing alliances. I'm sure he's a great guy if we weren't playing this game against each other. Anyway, except for Vir-King. Vir-King's the only one who doesn't get a pass. All right, he gets a pass. I'm sure he's a nice guy too. But still, it's war. Anyways, I see WPL all over our base. We're porting in. At least I poured in. Start scouting people, seeing who's got troops out of their base and who showed up when they really shouldn't have showed up, but they think just because they're coming behind Vir-King and the rest of his crew that they're pretty much invincible, which is the attitude a lot of these folks have. They kind of just see themselves as invincible because they're behind Vir-King, and I think they forget sometimes that the only one who really is actually darn near invincible is Vir-King. But anyways, scouting a few more people, seeing what they got. 211,000 troops right there, a whole bunch of traps, not somebody I'm going to be able to hit by myself. Going to have to be rallied. I'm looking for people I can hit by myself, because what's going to happen is when you go to launch a rally, right, everybody's going to reinforce that target that's getting rallied. So if you can take out some of those lower level players who will be giving the reinforcements, then you'll have an advantage, because when you go to rally that high target, now he can't receive as much in reinforcements from his fellow players because they've already been zeroed. So, I see a couple of other... Oh, we're back over where Vir-King's at right now. And here's Mab Girl's power. She's down to 23 million. I think just a week ago she was at 40 million, and at the beginning of my last video I think I showed that she was at 32 million. So she has taken quite a lot of hits. I don't know exactly where she lost all her power from. I think some of it came from us, but I think a good deal of it came from the Kingdom 89 invaders. I think they must have gotten, either she launched a rally and lost, or they hit her, or something happened, because I don't think we took all her power. So Conquest is going to land that rally right there I was talking about, and you can see everybody messaging me, YouTube, are you recording this? Yes. To the best of my ability, I promise. To the best of my ability, I try to record as much as I possibly can. So she had 0 troops. Smart decision. That was not a rally that you want to eat unless maybe you're Vir-King, and even still, it would probably make me a little squeamish to see those numbers coming at me. Yes, you are YouTube famous. Yes. And I think he called me honey in one of his other videos, so if he's coming on to me, send me a private message. It's cool. We can chat. That's fine. I like your dog, your references to Mass Effect, so it's cool, bro. We can be friends. I won't even tell your alliance that you're secretly messaging me love stories or love letters. Anyways, yeah, so we're doing really well. We're doing really well. What we have working for us in this arena right now is Vir-King is all tied up. He is destroying RXP's fortress. They have blood in their eyes. They're not playing 100% strategically, and I'm not trying to insult them, but the smart thing to do would have been to pull off of RXP's fortress right away and sprint at a couple of us and kind of take us down and wipe us out, but they didn't do that. They wanted to destroy buildings because they are angry. I'm not even 100% sure why they wanted RXP so bad, because the only aggression that happened to them the entire KvK event at all was from PXR freezing Vir-King. That was it. We didn't attack anyone. We didn't do anything. We froze him. So he couldn't port out of the Black Forest, and that was it. And that's what started this whole mess. I think RXP was messaging in Kingdom chat that they were like, they didn't like him or something. But anyways, they've got blood in their eyes. They are angry, and they are coming hard after RXP. So they are just, we're going to blow this building up. We're going to take this alliance down. We don't care what it costs. And they just put all their freaking eggs in that basket. So I'm scouting around our base right now. I'm looking at a bunch of different things. They're not coming off that fortress. Our number one goal is to try to figure out how to get them off that fortress. We don't want RXP to just be severely crippled and have all alliance buildings destroyed. So we're going to, and I think I explained it in the last video, eventually what we do is we launch a rally against Vir-King, knowing that the large majority of his troops are out of his base destroying that fortress. We launch that rally against him. We force him to recall. Once he recalls, the number of troops attacking that fortress goes down by a huge amount, and the amount of troops that can be attacking it goes down because his Hall of War is no longer associated with that destruction. So then we can then rally the fortress and take out those troops. We rally that, they run for the hills, and RXP can then move in and garrison their troops there and hopefully fend off the invaders, which was a little bit easier said than done because it took them a little longer than I would have liked for them to actually garrison the troops in their fortress after we cleared it. But ultimately, they did not lose their fortress. As of yet, I mean, stuff's still going on right now. I'm just shielded making these videos because my phone is running so slow from having something like 3 hours worth of footage on it. So I deleted baby pictures and videos so you guys can thank me. And for the things I do to make room for film for this channel. Anyways, so I still haven't ported back to my base yet. We're just hitting one after the other. If somebody's got resources, we're just trying to, not only do we want to take their troops, we're trying to get them for everything. These guys are going to come back with a fiery vengeance to destroy us, like you're already watching them do. I mean, you see, just freezing Virk has brought the entire kingdom. We have unified them in hatred of us. And I mean, honestly, I think we deserve an award for that or something. That's pretty impressive. So, anyways, yeah. So you can see right here, WPL Pietro is hitting Dura, and you can see a few other people. So I'm just going to go over in this area and start looking for the WPL players. Conquest is ported back towards our base. I think he gets a couple of victories just by reinforcing some of our players. Again, a strategy that is smart. And I always tell you to look out for. You scout someone, they got very few troops, you launch an attack, you get there, you get killed because someone like Conquest sprints a bunch of reinforcements at the last second, and you come up against a brick wall. Death. Not fun. So you can see WPL Pietro there, WPL Max right there, a couple, what is that, level 18 or 19, and a level 20. And there's another one a little further up. And so right now I'm just going to look for a place to port in that's relatively close to them, so I can take these two guys out. And there's monsters and barbarian camps all over the place, so it's kind of just freaking screwing me over. Wanted to scout hardline. I checked his power. He's already been zeroed, I believe, at that point. He was down like 15 million power, cut in half. So, yeah, Max is scouting me because I scouted him. He's got 54,000 troops. That's a walk in the park. No dragon, though, so it means his march is out of his base. So I do need to be careful of whatever comes back with his march. Looking at his level, he's level 20. He's probably sending 70,000, so he's probably got a total of 120, maybe 130k total troops. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch. I know that my T8 troops are going to be stronger than his T7s, and if I got to make up a difference of 15 to 17,000 troops, I think I can make that difference up with T8, provided that nobody is reinforcing him. So anyways, what we're going to continue to see here is my attack against WPL. They show up, they're hitting us, I decide to port in, and I think I was making this point earlier or in another video. They're one of those alliances that kind of just sits back and grows. They have non-aggression pacts or alliances with pretty much all the top alliances on the server. They never get hit. They don't do a lot of fighting. They're not really battle hardened. So you're going to see these two guys, they show up, they start hitting a couple of our low-level players, and then there's a little nice level on my dragon right there. And then when I go ahead and launch an attack at them, they don't send troops away, they don't shield, they don't teleport, they just sit there. So I don't know if it was that both of these WPL guys honestly thought that they maybe had a chance of winning when my attack came in, which again, it shows the nature of their inexperience, simply because, you know, you're going to have 3 times as many T5 troops as T8 troops to have a chance of winning. I'm building troops 3 tiers higher than that guy, so I was surprised that he didn't shield and didn't port. But that's just how it is. So I take out one of the WPL guys. Meanwhile, the rest of the guys in my alliance, we've got Kai, Warlord, Legion, ASAC, Conquest, the Kingslayer, or Antoinette, another guy from RXP, and a couple more guys from PXR. You know, we had fighting, and then tons and tons of other people with reinforcements. This was a huge alliance event. You can see our guys. There's Pepsi on the attack right there. Big Kahuna launching rallies right there. We're just trying our best to take these invaders and kick them out of our area. They just surrounded us. You know, for the sake of the length of the video, I couldn't put every shot I had recorded, but at one point, you know, our alliance is a big alliance. We've got something like 70 people with 2 or 3 farm alliances surrounding us. So it's a large area, and we were totally surrounded. We had people to the north, to the west, to the east, to the south, and there was a lot of players here. Again, there was 5 or 6 other alliances that were out to get us, that brought all of their big hitters. Anyone they had that could do anything was showing up. So it was a fight for our life. So we pretty much, like I said, we were backed into a corner. We didn't have an option. Our shields were going to be dropping. It was now or never. Either we fight back, we zero some players, or at least we go down swinging rather than just, oh, well, hopefully some of us can shield through this. By what the other alliances were saying in the Kingdom chat and any private messages that were going on, and still going on even now the next day when I'm editing this, they plan on hitting us. You know, they're not even going to try for the gathering stage. They're just going to tile hit like crazy. They plan on just doing everything they can to try to get us to quit. So we had to send a message, zero some of their troops, incapacitate some of them. It looks like it's going to be all-out war here in Kingdom 75 until either A, enough people quit, or enough people get tired of fighting each other. I think, you know, I'd kind of had this idea, this theory that if our kingdom got lost and we lost to some invaders, that the frustration of being taxed and beaten back would be the one thing that could maybe unite everybody in an effort to hold on to our kingdom. Right now, the top alliances see us as not necessary. And it's a little frustrating because actually if this fight hadn't have happened, they might have actually come to the realization that they need our help a little bit sooner. Because right now I think they're kind of, you know, saying things like, oh, well, the kingdom versus kingdom would have gone differently if we hadn't have frozen Vir-King. And realistically, they never attacked us until they gave up on KvK. The only thing that we did against them while they were partaking in that KvK event was to freeze Vir-King. That's it. They had already gotten kicked out of Kingdom 89, completely repelled, and they'd already lost our entire kingdom, including all 4 towers and Avalon. So I don't think there was any chance that they were going to actually win, and that was just what Kingdom 89 did to us. Kingdom 89 beat the crap out of us. And then apparently Kingdom 43 showed up and put a hurt on Kingdom 89. So that was what caused Kingdom 89 to leave our kingdom, vacate the throne, and we'll get to that later. This is why I call this video the craziest KvK, Civil War, KvK, then Civil War again, ever. So realistically, I'm thinking the only way that we actually stand a chance against some of these kingdoms with 5 or 6 level stronghold level 30s and multiple 29s is if, you know, our entire kingdom comes together in a defensive effort to repel the invaders. So either some peace talks are going to have to happen, or I guess the way it sounds like right now, the other alliances just pretty much want to fight. I think they aren't taking their KvK loss that well, and they want to take it out on somebody, so they're going to come try to take it out on us, and I guess we'll just see how that goes. So you can see here we're just still defending the base. We're trying to repel WPL. I just hit that guy now, and he got his butt kicked. Lost 105,000 troops again. Or 108,000. I must include the traps right there. I'm confused as to why they didn't port, why they didn't shield, why they didn't try to dump their troops off, why they didn't get reinforcements. You know, I was getting a little worried as I'm attacking these guys, and neither one of them's doing anything. And I'm thinking, what do they know that I don't know? Because if I tried that same stuff on LOD or STM or HRD, they're not going to let me hit them like that. But WPL never fights, and they don't do much, so that is probably why they got themselves killed when they showed up. So they'll be rebuilding for a while, which is good. We won't have to worry about them for at least, you know, hopefully a couple weeks. So again, speed healing, you know, if you watch my videos, I'm always doing this. Always speed healing, getting my troops back, speed training infantry, trying to make sure I stay as strong as possible, have as many infantry as possible throughout the fights. This is what you need in order to be successful. If you're out there fighting other, other kingdoms, other castles, or tile hitting, or whatever you're doing, if you don't have enough infantry, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So speed training, speed healing, that's what it's about, at least for me. Some people, you know, like a Vir-King or a Conquest, have such a huge reserve of troops. I mean, I'm talking the guys who have 800,000 troops or 700,000 troops. You know, they can afford to lose 150,000 and not be speed healing because they just have so many troops, such a huge excess. They're never going to run out of infantry that they can fill in. Me, even though I've got, you know, I got a decent number of troops. I started this thing out with, I think, like 240,000, and at my lowest, I was at like 169 after Vir-King hit me. Everything filled up my hospitals. I speed healed it back, used 2 days worth of speed ups, and was back up around 230,000. So that's definitely better than not having 230,000, but it's a far cry off from the big hitters in this game. So we see up here STM Grimstone, one of the guys that ported in right above us, hitting our farms, hitting our guys, and I just, I'm going to go try to evict him. I port right behind him. I can see his troops leaving his base. This is a good time to hit him. He's either going to have to do a recall, and even still, I think I'm going to go ahead and take him down, even if he recalls. I believe I checked his power. I might not have done it on screen, but taking a quick look at his power, you can see, approximately how many troops he has. If he's got 13 million power, he probably has less than 100,000 troops. If he's got 18 million power, he's probably got less than 200,000 troops. And if they're not tier 8 troops, I'm going to bet that I'm going to win that fight. And you can see right there, victory. All his troops were out of his base, so I go ahead and I hit him. He had just hit Marine Andy, and I hit him. He's sending those troops away. He's not calling them back, so I'm not sure if he's just either... Obviously, everything's out of his base, so he's got nothing to lose except for resources. I'm just hitting, thin air, essentially, which, it sucks to lose resources, but it sucks 1,000 times worse to lose troops. Not only does it cost resources to make them, it just takes so much time. It is so long. When you, see that unsuccessful attack and you realize that all your troops were just killed, not wounded, but killed. It is just that gut-wrenching feeling of, oh no, I'm going to be stuck rebuilding for like 3 weeks just to get back to where I was, much less progress further. Anyways, so launching attacks. We got Warlord launching attacks. Somebody's rallying him. Warlord's far too tactical of a player, too smart of a player to ever let himself get hit. If he's getting rallied, he's probably not even sweating. Either he's going to eat it because he thinks that he can take it, which is a good chance. He's one of those guys who has a lot of troops. To get to 30 million power, which is where he's at, with no T9 or T10 troops, you have a lot of T8 troops to get up to that level. So right now I'm just pretty much finishing off Grimstone. You showed up, you start attacking us. Some of these guys need to learn a lesson. I don't know what alliance he's from originally, if it is STM or LOD, but a lot of these guys joined STM and LOD because they just wanted to hit us, or they just wanted to go after a soft target. A lot of these players don't do anything by themselves. If Vir-King is not online, they won't attack us. If it's the kill event, and they're porting around hitting people, as soon as you fight back, they'll just run, leave, hide, bubble, shield, do whatever it takes. Maybe they'll launch a rally at you, but they wouldn't dare go hitting you by themselves. Pretty much the only time they're going to do that is if Vir-King is online, in which case they're hoping, oh, well, if I get myself into some trouble, Vir-King can kind of save my butt, which, I mean, obviously it's a fair enough strategy. It's smarter to attack if you have a Goliath with you because he can pull you out of a sticky situation. But right now, I know, based on the last 15, 20 minutes, Vir-King is devoting everything he can to taking down RXP's building. They have blood in their eyes, they're angry, they're mad, they want nothing more than to completely destroy both of our alliances, starting with the buildings and then working their way onto the players and tile hitting, as you saw earlier. They are out to crush us. They are really mad they lost the KvK. They want to take it out on the closest target. I think I made this point earlier. I'm editing this on 2 separate days, but RXP never even did anything other than talk in the Kingdom chat about how they're not fans of LOD. They never even froze Vir-King. They never launched a single attack, and lo and behold, they poured into our base, start tile hitting. We fend them off within just a few minutes, and so they poured over to RXP and start trying to lay waste to their alliance. So they kind of just got caught in the crossfire, but. Yeah, and this is the reason why there's so many people and alliances on our server that are not fans of the LOD fanboy club and, of course, themselves, because when they're, I guess, on a warpath, you better not have the same letters in your alliance name or you're toast. We can see here Warlord looks like he's rallying one of these WPL guys. Should be a good way, effective way to get him out. Kingslayer's in there, Battania. And the nice thing was, when they decided to come and attack us, we were fighting from close enough to our own home base that we really had the benefit of as many of our players as possible. I mean, obviously a few of them, a bunch of them are staying shielded. Right there, you can see Kai just crushed that guy. I mean, he just destroyed that guy. I believe that rally showed something like 45,000 troops lost on our part and then 400,000 on the other side. It might have been 60,000 on our part. I take it back. But we are, without their big top dog protecting them and saving their butts, they're getting crushed. I mean, what we're doing right now, we're launching a majority of these rallies without Conquest in them. The real big ones we've got him for to try to attempt to attack Vir-King, but other than that, we're actually doing a good job of launching our own. You got Warlord, Kingslayer, ASAC in there, Battania, and that's it. I'm not going to join that one simply because I don't make it in time. I tried to get there, but didn't quite make it. But it's okay because Warlord has been playing this game for a while, and he is a very strong for his level, considering he doesn't have T9 troops. You'd think he did by how hard he can hit some players. But I'm just continuing to scout, continuing to do my best to figure out how to most effectively do damage long term to these people. What I decided to do from here, the whole thing that kind of started this original merger between TLF and PXR was over in TLF on the last KvK event, 2 weeks ago. Kingdom 89 was here. They were fighting. They were doing a decent job, but they didn't really come in full force. They didn't show up with the intent to totally strip us of our kingdom. And so our guys, if you watch my other video, our guys successfully defended against them, kick them out of the kingdom. We maintained control of our kingdom. And at one point, I messaged a guy saying, "Hey," I can't remember the exact message, but it was "Hey, I hope you guys take our Avalon because our king and his alliance, they just are ruthless." It was something like that, relentless or ruthless or something like that. And then this was after we have these kingdom rules that say during KvK we stand together. There's no alliance destruction of buildings, and then there are no tile hitting outside of the kill event. So KvK we stand together. For the sake of making a video, I was like, you know what? I'll ask, see if I can get in. And so I sent an email off to one of the guys in LOD, one of the higher ups, and was like, "Hey man, can I join for the KvK? Because I'm under the impression we stand together and I can put aside differences for that." And I never got a response. And I was like, well, okay, maybe they just, who knows? Maybe they got busy or they just don't think they need me. And so they don't want to try to come to terms. Anyways, Never got a response back. The KvK goes on, and so during the KvK, I'm making a video if you've seen it, and there's one point where I scout our Avalon when LOD holds it. And as soon as I send the scout, I send a message saying, hey, I'm just making a video. Don't plan on attacking anyone. Just trying to make a video for all the people who want to know more about KvK. And this was also in addition to the other message I had sent asking to join in the first place. And I didn't get a response from that. Nothing. So KvK ends, we hold on to the kingdom, and a little bit later in that day, I'm out with 4 troops out of my base, 4 marches out of my base, gathering, and I get hit by SL91, whose farms I'm obliterating right now. He ports in, hits me, and then says, you scouted Avalon, that's an enemy thing to do. And I was like, okay. But I sent messages out, and you know, well, I don't remember what it was that he said. So... and then the next day, he ports back and says, we saw this screenshot that you messaged somebody else saying, you hope they take our kingdom. And I was like, well, yeah, duh. I mean, we're pretty much enemies that fight each other every single kill event. Why would I be rooting for you? You don't have to go to screenshots. Just ask me, hey, man, do you want us to take the kingdom? And I'll just straight up tell you, no, I don't want you guys to be the king. You're relentless tyrants that try to murder, as this video shows, anyone who does anything to disagree with you. So... you can just ask me yourself. Anyways, the moral of that story was he then messaged me saying a little message, be smarter, bud. And be smarter, bud, with a winky face. Not the yellow emoji, the old school semicolon, you know, shift 0 parenthesis, you know, old school emoji. Be smarter, bud. So I decided to do my best to be smarter, bud, and I took to heart his attacks, decided, you know what, you kind of attacked me. Seemed like a cheap shot to me. Even at the time I messaged him and I was like, you know, strategically it's sound to go ahead and hit somebody a couple hours after KvK, especially if you tell them, oh, everyone can be here for the KvK. But I guess they intended to farm us for resources to heal back up from the KvK, because when I sent a request in, never got a response back. I finally talked to another player, it was at least a week later, from a different alliance that participates in the KvK. It was from HRD. And she said that they hadn't been made aware of my request to join. And, I mean, all I could say for that was, well, I mean, I guess maybe you weren't made aware, but that doesn't change the fact that somebody came in and dropped me 8 million power after I tried to play by the kingdom rules. So if I'm not your biggest fans, well, I guess you now understand another reason why. Anyways, LOD SL91's farms. You'll see the battle reports at the end, but essentially one of his bases has 133,000, the other one is 69,000, the other one is 59,000, and the fourth one, I can't remember what it had. But when I did the math, I ended up killing something like 300,000 of his farming troops. So he still dropped me more power than I dropped him, and I would have loved to hit his main castle, but he keeps that thing shielded, that SL91 castle shielded pretty much 24/7 since Conquest spanked him 30 million power a few days ago. Yeah, after TLF merged with PXR, he tried to follow us over during the last kill event to PXR. Him and LOD, Bacon Piggy or something like that, one of the videos of the guys we rallied down, they tried to follow us over and continue their onslaught, and Conquest spanked him for something like 30 million power, and then we rallied down the other guy and took another like 18 million power off of him, plus whatever reinforcements he had. So yeah, ultimately it's just bloodshed on this server. It's just ridiculous. I mean, fighting and fighting and fighting. And so, oh yeah, so again, while I'm up here fighting them, I take all the farms out, crush his troops to the best of my ability. I get sprinted at by LOD Asylum. He sprints a rally at me, or excuse me, not a rally. Sprints a march at me, but you're not Vir-King, bro. I mean, that's all I can say. You're not, or Conquest. You're not Conquest either. So he sprints an attack at me, loses the whole thing. Well, no, I don't think he lost his entire march, but he loses like 60,000 or something like that. Whatever it is, he loses. But like I said, because I was running out of space on my storage device, I was kind of turning the recorder on and off, trying to just get the important bits, and I didn't get the sprint of either A, when LOD Asylum sprinted at me and got his butt kicked, and I didn't get the sprint where Vir-King sprinted at me and I got my butt kicked. But I do go through the battle reports here in just a few more minutes at the end. You can see all the damage that just I myself alone did during this during this KvK Civil War thing. And I was trying to do screenshots, and it was taking like 5 or 6 of my screens just to get through all the victory reports. And those were all I saved were the ones where I actually killed troops, not the ones where I was taking resources. But yeah, so right now I'm just kind of continuing to scroll around this LOD area. These are all the guys, you know, they're all out on their tiles because we've got a kingdom rule that says you don't attack on tiles. But their boss ported into our base and just started unloading. I don't know if he bothered to message his guys and say, hey, we're going to break the rules with these guys. You might want to pull your troops back because it's about to be all-out war. I mean, very clearly, either these guys were offline or that message was never sent out. But yeah, so at some point here in the next minute or two, I get sprinted by LOD Asylum, and I think he loses like 60,000 troops. Okay, so once that's over, I turned the camera off because I was running out of space. I mentioned earlier, Kingdom 89 had our entire kingdom locked down. If you watched my earlier video, part 2 of 3, I mean, they had evicted Vir-King, they had taken our entire kingdom, the towers, this entire Black Forest was full of their castles, and their whole forest was full of their castles. I was impressed. I mean, these guys were organized. And then, lo and behold, all of a sudden we realized that one of the players from HRD, like kind of a lower medium level player, not even, you know, Mav Girl or something, someone strong that you would expect, HRD Sin, is on the throne of our kingdom. We're like, what the heck? And so then, and I don't know exactly how he got evicted off of it, but one of our random low level guys ports up there and starts taking over towers by himself, you know, like a level 20 stronghold. And so we're saying, okay, well, Vir-King at this point, after he hit me, so a little bit earlier is when Vir-King sprinted at me. He hits me, takes 6 million of my power, but he loses like 25,000 of his own troops. And I'm assuming, you know, even at Stronghold 30, he spent so much money on the game in the last 24 hours, instant healing and instant training back troops that he had lost, that I think he just phoned it in. We got him, we forced him off that tower where they were attacking RXP. We saved RXP's alliance buildings. We were able to get RXP in there to defend their own tower. We were able to force Vir-King after he hits me. I think he just bubbled because he was just done. He'd been playing probably for like 20 hours straight. So, I mean, he might have just been tired. I wouldn't be surprised if that was it either. I was getting pretty tired at this point myself. At this point, it's like 4 in the afternoon, and I'd been on since 2 a.m. Anyways, Vir-King's bubbled. Well, like I mentioned earlier, without Vir-King, pretty much the rest of these alliances, they don't have anything. They don't know how to fight without him very much, and they don't even want to fight without him. As you can see here, they all just clear out. Vir-King bubbles up, they pull off. We'd zeroed a whole bunch of them. A few of them had been zeroed from the KvK event already or lost substantial power. They just take off, they phone it in. So we port into the center of the map, and we just start loading up. And you can see RUS still maybe thinking about hitting me 1 or 2 times, and they try, and I was getting ready to just eat that. And unfortunately, I mean, fortunately, Conquest shows up and just destroys the guy, but I was getting ready to take those kills myself. But yeah, so for a brief period of time, we were just in there, and then K89 shows back up, starts attacking us. So we leave the middle of the area. We were only going to take it if it was like an easy take because we'd taken substantial losses. We weren't worried at this point as much with fighting K89. We just wanted to take the throne if it was there, keep it out of the hands of LOD, HRD, who had been attacking us all morning. So I take one more port back up to LOD's hive, go to hit a couple of guys on tiles, and you saw right there, it was the weirdest thing ever. So LOD Jack Shepherd launches an attack at me, and you saw it land. You saw the arrows fire, and then they're just marching away, and there's no battle report. So I don't know if he just called it back at the last possible second. Maybe he was trying to bluff me or something. If he called it back at the last possible second, and the animation just happened to still go through. So that was a weird one. I was looking forward to that. He sent like 78,000 bowmen at me with no dragon, and would have been an easy victory. So, oh well, I take out a couple of more tiles, force a couple guys off their tiles. Essentially, the message I'm trying to send, I'm not a big fan of tile hitting outside of the kill event. During the kill event, everything goes. That's the point of the kill event. I get it. Outside of the kill event, one of the rules I really like for our kingdom is that we don't hit on tiles. But they poured it in and they started hitting us. And so the only way, I think, that we'll be able to get that roll back is if they realize, oh, hey, this whole hitting on tiles thing doesn't just apply to us screwing over PXR. they can show up and screw us over too. So if we can inconvenience them enough to the point where they're sick and tired of never being able to gather, maybe we can at least get that rule back reinstated. We can get back to that, okay, we don't have to support each other for KvK, I guess, but, we may end up being taxed for it, but at least let's get the gathering one back, because it's difficult to progress in this game if you can't gather, especially as you get up to level 22 and 23 and higher. It's a fortune to do anything. It's difficult. So, and unfortunately, as you've seen, there's a lot of videos online with kingdoms that got 6 level 30s or just dozens of 28, 29s, and 30s. And our kingdom's got 130, we've got 3 29s, and then like 26s. That's it. And we only have maybe less than 5 level 26s. So our growth has been severely stunted. And I attribute that to the fact that Vir-King got 30 so fast. I mean, there was 2 guys that were spending a ton of money at the beginning of this server. Murder, and Maxter, Murder, and Vir-King. And then Murder just quit at Stronghold 24. Vir-King powered through to level 30 when the second highest was Murder at 24, and Maxter in that same area, and these guys spent a fortune. But other than that, most castles were still like under Stronghold 20, and it's taken a long time just for organically grown players, or players that spend maybe a small amount of money to no money, to get up to the 24, 25, 26 range. And it's been even harder considering Vir-King and his alliance that's just been kind of hiding behind how strong he is, have gone around and decimated people for months now. And so we're really far behind as a server, which is a weakness for us. You can see right now I'm going through our reports. It's a weakness for us. Anyways, I hope you liked the video, guys. Leave a comment, leave a like. If you hate me, I love you. It's just a game. Be safe. There's wallet warriors everywhere.